The music that fully describes this entire Suns season for many of us. What a rough time to be alive. But welcome in, everybody, to the PHNX Suns Podcast, postgame edition. I'm Lindsay. That's Gerald. That's Flex. That's Espo. And shout out to our friends over at OGs for helping us survive this season and for being the official sponsor of Flavoring Fridays. Head on over to ogsbrands.com to see their full lineup, including their two newest gummies, the OGs Naturals and the Big OGs, and to find out where you can purchase. Suns fall to a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander-less Oklahoma City Thunder team, 128-103. I didn't have a good time. Did y'all?
No.
Just straight up no. No, of course not. Like that's a rough loss, especially without SGA. I think it's proof that the Thunder are a very good team.
Yeah.
And I think it's proof that their playing style, their personnel are a bad matchup for the Suns team. They are quick, they're athletic, they're younger, and the Suns struggle with ball containment. And all of those ingredients are the recipe for a bad time if you're not fully locked in. And honestly, the first half, I didn't think their defensive process was that bad, but they were not fully locked in.
Yep.
And you have to be against a team like this that at any moment can open up that drive and kick game and really shred you from three-point range. And that's what happened. And I think it continued in the third. And at that point, there were too many slippages to overcome at that point. So I think we're past the point of, and I know it's hard for fans, we're past the point of you letting this team dictate your mood, because we have to accept that this team is what it is. They are the team that's capable of losing to the Spurs without Wemby, or the Thunder without SGA and getting shredded by 25. They're also the team capable of going out there and beating the Denver Nuggets twice in the last couple weeks.
Right.
I don't know what to expect from them on a night-to-night basis. I'm not going to tell anyone what they should expect, but I do think we are past the point of thinking that we're going to get consistency from this team in either direction, honestly.
Couldn't agree more, man. I mean, they carved us up, and it was surgical, right?
Yeah.
They just got to the paint at will. They broke down our perimeter defense. They got wide open shots. They wanted it more. They came out like the team that's fighting to be the play-in. That's what they did. And it was embarrassing, man, and it's terrible. Gerald, you just nailed it. They're the team, Jekyll and Hyde, man. They can beat anybody on any given night, and they can lose to anybody on any given night. How long is the drive from OKC to New Orleans, roughly?
It's probably pretty far.
Yeah, they wouldn't get on a plane if I own this team.
We're driving.
Y'all driving. I'm getting the dirtiest bus in town.
And you can't hook up no headphones, no Bluetooth, no aux
I'm getting
cords.
an old Greyhound,
Just sit
like
there
a 40-year-old
and
Greyhound.
think about what you've done.
Don't worry, in OKC, I bet you can find a lot of them.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I'm getting a broken down Greyhound. I'm saying, man, I'll see y'all in New Orleans, man. Like this. Yeah, as a coach, I'm no bullshit. If I was coaching this team, I'm furious, man. I'm furious. It's just one of those nights where it's like, this ain't acceptable. And if y'all think this is acceptable, shame on y'all. The fan base can't want it more than a team. And tonight they just didn't come out like a team that is in the position that they're in, trying to fight to be a playing team or even in the playoffs. So it's very disappointing. And then I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be too optimistic. I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day. It's Good Friday. Go ahead, Espo.
I'm starving for a consistent basketball team. But look, what's the saying? when somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
This team has continually shown us that when they're given the opportunity to take an opponent lightly, whether it's due to injury or them being a lesser team, they do that. Mm-hmm. Tonight was another example of that. The Bucks game was very similar. MVP candidate out, don't take a team seriously, get smacked in the mouth, right? We've seen them lose to San Antonio, a bunch of team that they just think they're more talented than, which Bradley Beal even said as much. This is the Phoenix Suns. This is who they are. And I'm starting to wonder, there was a lot of focus in building this team on taking on the Denver Nuggets, right?
Yes.
And you built a team around that. And they've been able to beat the Denver Nuggets, but I feel they're ill-equipped to beat other teams based on the way they built certain things. So that's why we can't get too high on those Denver Nuggets wins, because they were tailor-made for that, right? I feel I do not. This is a point where I still have that little flicker of hope that, well, it's still Kevin Durant, it's Devin Booker, it's Bradley Beal, but guys, we're selling ourselves on something that I think is becoming more and more apparent isn't there, right? At least not sustainable for long periods of time.
Yeah, no, I did. That's why I'm honestly not like, I'm not going to say bothered by the loss, because it's a bad loss. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything or make excuses right now. I'm in a place where they go out and lose to the Thunder by 25. Yep, that makes sense. They beat the Nuggets in a good, hard-fought game that shows what they're capable of. Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah. Like I don't know what to expect from this team. So any and everything on both ends of the spectrum is what I'm expecting, and that's what tonight was. And it's inexcusable, and it's perfectly understandable if you've come to grips with what this team is. Like it sucks. I'm not trying to, soften the blow here. It sucks that we have a team that has this many veterans that routinely come out and look unprepared. And that's from top to bottom. That's not just the big three. That's not the bench who were at one point outscored, like, what was it? 26-6 in bench points, something like that. 32-6 at halftime. Like the coaching, like you could point to all of it right now, and you probably wouldn't be wrong about any of it.
Well, I wouldn't lay any. I'm just going to say this. I wouldn't lay any of it at the feet of Kevin Durant tonight.
No, that's true.
Kevin Durant came out and played a Kevin Durant game. It was 10 of 17, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 7 from 3. Kevin Durant came out and played the way that you need Kevin Durant to play. But where I do put this at the feet of the number 2 for 17, the combined 3-point shooting of Grayson Allen and Eric Gordon. And if you have that happen, you are not going to win any game. Yeah. Because we've seen how important Grayson Allen is, and we've seen how important Eric Gordon is to getting the bench to play in a way where that bench unit can compete with another team's bench unit. When you're 2 of 17, you are not going to win. It's just never going to happen for this team when those two guys combine for that from deep. I mean, it's pretty freaking ridiculous that 17 of your 41 3-point shots came from 2 guys, and they only made 2 of them.
You know what's interesting is, when we talk basketball, you look at like a big 3, and the obvious thing is the big 3 opens things up for role players and makes life easier on them.
Right.
But there's an opposite effect. When the role players are doing their job, it opens it up for the primetime players as well, because when the role players are hitting their shots, you can't send doubles at KD, or you have to be hesitant about doing that, or to B, or to Book. When nobody's cooked, this was just bad. There was no one besides Kevin Durant that came and showed up today. And so that's just a recipe for disaster. So the big 3 needs the role players, and the role players need the big 3. And it's why we call them a basketball team. It needs to work across the board. You're not going to win games when you have those type of numbers. And then they can key up on your primetime players and send all kind of different actions at them because they don't believe that your role players are going to make them pay. So it's crazy. And then to Gerald's point, I would not be shocked. I might just put a bet on it. The Suns might win by 25 on Monday.
They might.
And it's just like you just can't figure them out.
And they're built against bigger, slower teams pretty well.
Yeah.
It's these quicker, younger, athletic teams that are going to give them problems, which is why in the first round, you're hoping for a team like Minnesota that has a bigger, supersized front court that you can kind of spread out with the shooting. But to your point, Espo, like, yeah, the role players need to hit shots. This is one of the rare games where both Grayson and Eric were off in the same game, and that's going to hurt you for sure. Because we can only get so mad about it when they are a top 5, or at least they were entering the night, a top 5 team in 3-point percentage. Grayson leading the league in 3-point percentage. Like he's allowed to have an off night, but what you can't have happen is him have a really off night and EG have the same exact type of night. And on the other end, you're not defending the 3-point line well. Like that's just a recipe for disaster, and they couldn't contain the ball all night long.
I think you could also add on too, like, Book only having 14 points is not ideal.
No.
Beal 15, maybe a little bit closer to his ideal number, but all of the culmination of all of that, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Well, Book had one of those games where you could tell he was getting frustrated early, which led to he plays a little more physical at that point, which led to those 5 fouls, which
fouls,
gives you no opportunity to get in any kind of rhythm offensively. This is you can't have a game like that in these games that you need. But I go back to that Torrey Lavello quote: a connected team is an effing dangerous team, right? At times, I don't feel like these guys are connected out there on the floor. It feels like there's some weird, disjointed thing about it, and I don't know if that's time or if it's
So a couple people in the chat are bringing up. So Heat Check said this team either doesn't like each other or they want Vogel fired or both. Other people are bringing up the fact that they don't think that the Suns are having fun with one another. They don't think that they're putting in the effort. Do you guys buy into any of these opinions here?
There have been stretches this season where I didn't feel like the Suns were having fun. Like those 2 games that they beat the Sixers and the Hawks, listening to their post-game comments, and they didn't, like, it was not a happy room like you normally feel after a loss. It was very much like, yeah, we won, but we did this bad, or we did this wrong, or we're still struggling with the turnovers thing. Like, it hasn't felt fun. It hasn't felt easy. It's felt very forced. They can feel the pressure. They understand it's there. And they know that it's in their hands to fix it. But for whatever reason, it's just not happening. There's some disconnect there, and I don't know what it is. It could be coaching. It could be the fact that they, like the rest of us, know that they should be better than what they've been. They, like the rest of us, feel the frustration of, like, we can't help these injuries, but they keep happening and they keep preventing us from getting where we want to go. It's a combination of things. And so in a game like this, I felt like they were connected early on. The ball was moving. Their first 6 buckets, they assisted on all of them. They were 4-6 from 3. They got up a lot of threes tonight too. It's just, I think when they played that Thunder team and they couldn't stop the ball, and the OKC was getting 3 after 3, and then their shot stopped going down like they were early, I feel like things snowball with this team. When shots aren't falling, the defense, like, lapses. It lets up, and you can't let one thing affect the other in that way, because then you're setting yourself up for a blowout like we saw tonight.
What I struggle with is, how do you go from feeling connected early, right, to feeling so disjointed? And I don't think it's just because OKC played well on the offensive end. It's like they get these sparks where they connect, and then all of a sudden they can't. Like, it just doesn't happen. And I don't think they're playing to get a coach fired. Like, that's not what happens in a situation where they're at. Now, if you're a bottom feeder, when you were supposed to be a contender, maybe that happens. But at this case, I do kind of wonder, though, have they lost some faith in certain things? And that can start to impact other things.
I don't know. I really do think it's shots stopped falling like they were early. And on the other end, they're not getting stopped. Like, that's the one thing that was kind of driving me crazy in this game was everyone was pointing to, oh man, the Suns don't want it. Their defense is terrible, this and that. And like, yeah, they should have been better defensively. But this team, like, we have to understand the fact that sometimes other NBA teams are just going to be fucking better than us. Like, they're just going to play better. That's OKC was on fire in that first half.
That's fair.
And not all of them were like wide open, terrible shots. I thought that one where they helped off of Josh Giddey, they closed out too hard. Isaiah Joe got a 3 after he had already knocked some down. That was a bad defensive play. They had some of those. But a lot of those were just the Thunder playing really well and playing better than the Suns. And you can look at the Suns and be like, well, why didn't they want it more? Why didn't they come out with more urgency? And I get that. But like, to a certain degree, the Thunder are a really good team. They've been a really good team all season, and they've had their full complement of guys all season. So not making excuses, but sometimes when you get your ass kicked, it's because they kicked your ass, not because you came into the game with the, trying to get your coach fired or, not having fun or whatever we're going to chalk it up as.
I don't think this was they didn't have the effort to win.
Right.
I think you're right, but it's weird. This team completely altogether goes cold.
Yeah,
like
they let it snowball.
It's contagious.
Like you have wide open shots and you're missing, and then the other guy has a wide open shot and you miss. I'm like, at some point, why? That feels like a mental thing as a group, not a actual everybody just forgot how to shoot all of a sudden.
Right. They're mentally fragile for some reason, and they shouldn't be for a team that has this much talent, this much experience. And one thing that Vogel said earlier in the season that kind of stood out to me was we've all accomplished a lot in the playoffs and in our careers separately, but coming together and trying to do it together, that's kind of a new challenge. And I think that's showing with this team.
Yeah, I mean, before the show, I went to Eric and I told him, I said, this is such a weird game. If I didn't show you the final score and just showed you the box score, you think the Suns won. Yeah. With the exception of the 3-point line, you would the numbers are not adding up like we talked about. Like, it's just not adding up. Here's the stat of the night. Suns were 7-1 when they shoot 43s. They shot 41 tonight and got their ass whooped. They're one of the best teams in basketball. I want to say 23 when they get over 30 assists. They got 28 tonight.
Yeah.
Right? And so the numbers that normally make sense that lead to a Suns win or at least competitive basketball, they went out the window tonight. Like, those are the two barometers that I think lead to you when they outshoot the opposing team, they usually from the 3-point line, they usually play well or win basketball games. They took 11 more shots than the Thunder from the 3-point line tonight.
Yeah, but the Thunder were knocking them down.
That's the point. Nothing. But that's what I'm saying. So to Gerald's point, I mean, it was just the Thunder hit a lot of shots.
They showed up tonight.
They showed
in
up
a big way. And
all the numbers that normally lead to a Suns victory, it just didn't play out tonight. It just didn't work out. And so I'm a little disappointed that it was a 25-point beatdown the way it was. I think there were times in this game where an adjustment here, an adjustment there, and you stop that snowball effect. I just think another thing, this team ain't good at playing from behind. They don't have enough chemistry and continuity to be consistently behind and think they can come out of it. Good teams are able to do that. We've done that a couple times in the year, but I don't think you can rely on it.
Well, let's dive a little bit deeper into the numbers by taking a look at what's inside the box. Presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes.
What's in the box?
Yeah, we just talked about it. 128-103, Oklahoma City win tonight. Suns shoot 44% from the field to their 56%, which is crazy. They shot 53% from three. The Suns shoot 31%. 41 threes. You like that number. They just didn't make enough. Points in the paint. We couldn't stop anybody from getting in the paint tonight. It's a +10 for the Thunder, 54-44. And then assists. Yeah, I'm sorry. I said 28. It was 26. Thunder 31, Suns 26. Complete domination by the Thunder after the first quarter, 128-103.
I'm actually surprised that it was only a 10-point difference in points in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Because it felt like everything.
Because they were kicking everything back out.
I mean, that's true.
Well, and in the first quarter, it was much more drastic, too. I think 10 for the Suns, 18 for the Thunder. And it just felt like it was more often that the Thunder were able to get into the paint than it was for the Suns.
Yeah.
Or it just felt bigger when they did.
They've got the speed and the defenders to stick with the Suns. You saw a bunch of guys giving Bradley Beal, Devin Booker fits on the ball. They've got a very good team, man. I know that they're inexperienced, and a lot of people are going to doubt them, and no matter who they get in the first round because of it. But they've been a very good team all season. And they stepped up tonight without SGA. I think for the Suns, you look at this game, and the concern is like, okay, if we get an opponent like that in the first round, are we going to be able, like we talk about locking in and being focused and all this stuff, but do you like actually have the defensive skill sets and personnel to be able to contain that many quick younger guys who can put it off on the floor, get into the paint and kick out? Because this in particular is a really rough matchup for Phoenix.
So I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was. It might have been Brendan Clean or somebody on Twitter tonight was like, low key, if OKC, depending on where OKC winds up in the Western Conference standings, the Suns should try and either tank a little bit to avoid that matchup.
You may not have any choice.
Honestly, you're not wrong though.
You know, another number that really surprised me, Bol, 13 minutes, 0 shots. Six, I think probably about 6 of those minutes came in garbage time at the end too. Yeah. That surprised me.
The Josh Okogie nod before Bol. Is that what you're talking about, or just Bol in general?
Just Bol in general, but we talked about it. I figured they were going to have to try to get Josh Okogie some run at some point. So, but yeah, just a lack of involvement at all from Bol tonight. You know,
I don't know.
That's not on him. I'm just saying.
No, I know. I don't really have a problem with that decision. Like my bigger problem is again not getting Thad some run. That one I kind of get because of the way they were getting shredded off the dribble, and Okogie didn't do much to stop that at all when he got in there. But I get the thinking behind going because Bol defensively can be a problem at times with the communication, and especially against this particular matchup, if you're trying to play him at the 4, like that drive and kick game was shredding them. So I get not going with Bol in that instance, and because Okogie didn't work in the first stint, he did go to Bol in the second stint, and that didn't make much of an impact either. So a lot of people are going to point to Okogie versus Bol or Drew Eubanks versus Thad Young. I would have really preferred to see Thad Young for those stretches, especially when the Eubanks minutes didn't go well. Yeah. But neither one of those, even if you change both of them, I think are impacting this game in any substantial way.
Yeah, I mean, Eubanks only played 7 minutes. They decided to go small for most of that game after those Eubanks minutes. It didn't work. But
yeah, Gerald now. I mean, listen, they dominated this basketball game. And we said this while we were watching live, and we said we were going to talk about this on pregame. You're going to look at the totality of the game, and it's going to be easy to say, you know what, no 1 or 2 substitutions is going to change that outcome. But what I will say is I think there was an opportunity to make the Thad move a little bit earlier in the game. Because I don't think Thad is just about the defensive end. I thought what I saw on tape from Thad was his ability to affect the game on both ends. Free things up offensively, little quicker decisions in that low pocket, better passer, just some energy. And I feel like there was a moment, I'm going to go back and look at this game, but I feel like there's going to be moments where I'm watching the tape that I'm going to be pissed off. Because I feel like if you inject that guy for 2-3 minutes, it could, maybe you don't win the game.
Stem the tide at least.
Stem the tide a little bit, at least. Maybe instead of an 11-point deficit at the half is 7 or 6, right? Or maybe just coming out. So little things like that will drive you crazy. But ultimately, the Thunder were the better team. And I don't think one sub here or there was going to change the fact that they beat us pretty bad tonight.
Yeah, they played vastly better than the Suns at every facet of the game. And they deserve the win. I mean, that's not a slight on them. It just there certainly were things that the Suns could have controlled themselves to at least make this a game. Like,
Yeah.
And Thad, I will say, getting 0 minutes in a game that was basically over in the fourth quarter is weird to me, because that either tells me he's kind of quietly making a statement that like Thad Young is not getting minutes unless we absolutely need a change of pace, or it's
injury.
Then this is more tinfoil hat territory that we're crossing here, but it's I don't want to give anybody like film on Thad Young, and come playoff time, if we need to go to him, they won't have any research on it. That's the only hopeful silver lining that I can possibly take from that.
That's the tinfoil hat theory. I'm
very
on board
tinfoil
with
hat.
it
That's the only
because at least
reason.
that
Yeah.
means we
Okay.
might get that
Well,
done.
that's
Because the first thing you said was, unless we desperately need a change of pace. Well, I don't know another game
Right.
that you could point to in the time that Thad Young has been here that you could say we desperately needed a change of pace in this one.
Yeah.
I am a man who owns a tinfoil hat in my office, and I think this is crazy as shit.
It's not
All
that.
right.
It's okay. Let's go back and revisit some of yours, sir.
But let's make it clear. I never actually bought into those in any way, right? Like some people probably actually think that maybe they're just holding Thad back because, like we heard about Bol Bol earlier. They're just not going to play him till the playoffs. It's a secret. Like,
it's not that.
If that's the game plan, I am very much. Let's give him a 1.5 mile long footage tape of Drew Eubanks, and we'll keep Thad Young so the dude is rusty until we go to him.
And the thing too that blows my mind is they waved the white flag with 7 minutes left in this game, and you still aren't willing to try that.
I think it's
you still aren't willing to test things out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was pissed off about it. I think it's two things. I don't think it's the playing possum thing, because at this point you may not have a possum to play with. I guess
you may just be
he's too far down in the hole. You can't get him back out now.
Right? Like you may not.
He lives there now.
You keep doing this, you're not gonna make the playoffs. You're gonna mess around and have your secret weapon never come out. So I don't know if it's that. But
sometimes you're not playing possum. You're not playing dead. You just You're just.
It's not that, because Book wouldn't have said. I don't think Book would have said what he said after the last game in terms of like we can't. Like it's going to be hard to keep that guy on the bench.
But maybe Frank hadn't read him in on it, and it's a deep state kind of thing.
I don't think it's any of that. I think it's the two things that Gerald said. I think the first thing is, I hate to say this, but I do feel like it may be a little bit of selfishness. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there's really no need for him not to play today. So I kind of feel like I'm starting to worry that Frank is basically like, yo, I said what I said, and I meant what I said, and I'm standing on this shit, and none of y'all are going to change my mind. And the only thing that's going to get me to change my mind is if there's an injury, like I said, or we need a severe change of pace, like I said. And if that is the case, I'm worried for Frank.
Well, yeah, because if that's the case, then don't say that shit.
Right.
Nobody is forcing you to tell us exactly how you plan to utilize guys on your bench. Just don't tell us.
Don't tell us.
And then you'll never be wrong when you change your mind.
I mean, I personally disagree because I'm the one asking the question.
I mean, I get that.
Please tell me the truth, Frank.
Frank Vogel has been far more like matter of fact about how he plans and intends to use certain players than any coach I can remember in recent history.
He doesn't have to be.
I feel like Monty would kind of duck behind it and
a little bit. It's
talk
one
about
thing
other guys.
To hint to it is maybe okay, but to firmly be like, listen, here is the pecking order, and unless X, Y, and Z happen on a full moon, done.
I appreciate the transparency, but I think you need to be flexible as a coach when like things on the court dictate that you need to be flexible. Like that's my thing. I don't have a problem with him telling me straight up like what is going to happen, because then I can come here and tell you guys what's going to happen, and then guess what? That's what's happening. But like at a certain point, it has to change. You have to be flexible as a coach, especially come playoff time, and that's what I'm holding on to. Is we've seen under Monty a coach that stood on his business as far as these are my guys. These are guys that got to prove it to me, and they're not going to really get a chance to do so. And that hurt them in the playoffs at times.
And it was part of the downfall of Monty Williams to an extent,
and when a coach is digging in like that and possibly not playing a guy in garbage time, this is just speculation on my part, but possibly not playing a guy in garbage time just to be true to what he said, then you got a situation where a coach is digging in and starting to get a little bit defensive. And that's what worries me, because you have to be willing to admit that, okay, I got to try something else, or that was wrong, or I should have played this guy sooner, something like that, because you need that in the playoffs. And right now, I don't know if I could look anybody in the face and say, like, yeah, if they need a change of pace, he's going to play Thad Young in the playoffs.
Yes.
I don't feel that.
Can I take my tinfoil hat back and
Sure.
I'm going to put it back on?
Go ahead.
I have a theory here,
Okay.
right? Join me over here.
Mm-hmm.
You put your tinfoil hat on, lock in.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this isn't some digging in the heels. I think this is exactly what Thad Young needs. At 35, we all get aches and pains.
Oh, man.
It takes a while to recover. So Thad is on an every 20-day cycle of being able to play, and that's just the way it is. Gerald, I'm cooking here. Leave me be. And so
what's the pill you got to give him?
So Thad is that's every 20 days he's gonna give it to you good, but other than that, that's all he's got. That's all he's got.
No,
he's 35. All right. Tinfoil hatted. That's how you do it, Gerald.
Gerald, I'm cooking here.
Gerald, I'm cooking.
Amazing.
Oh
my gosh. All right, gentlemen, before we look at some of these super chats, let's take a peek at what our leaderboard looks like over at the BetMGM Sportsbook app. It's not pretty because I think we all took L's tonight, right? Nobody won their bet?
Correct.
Nobody won their bet. Which means, Espo, you are down back into the 300 level.
Oh,
sure, you're at the top of it, but
Scrub.
still, Espo only has $393 to his name now.
I'm still $350 up on the closest person.
Which is me with $47. Saul is down to single digits. He's got $8, and Flex is minus $213.
I'm back in the boiler room of the Titanic. I started dipping back down.
Just like the Suns this year, our betting has been very high and very low.
Cheeks Clinic.
What can we say? We're just following along with what the Suns have set as the precedent for this season. But listen, we're having a great time doing it, even though sometimes it feels worse than others. When you hit a big bet, there's nothing better. Whether that's
how would you guys know?
Whether that's like a 2,200
I know he was gonna fucking say that.
Or a plus 200 odds for me. That feels like a big bet in my world. So
huge bet.
I'm happy about it. If you guys want to get in on the action, we highly recommend it. You should sign up for the BetMGM Sportsbook app, and you should sign up with the code PHNX, because when you use the code PHNX, all you got to do is place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app of at least $10, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if it loses. You can check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Hey, Ontario, come here. Get stuffed. Oh, in Puerto Rico, we still apologize for Flex's betting.
I'm sorry.
It was
guys.
a one-day reprieve.
I'm sorry, guys.
At least I got one W. You know what I mean?
I mean, Flex, would you say the Suns may have taken a mental vacation today?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Well, if you want to take a physical vacation, I got a place for you. Our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos have a wonderful... You don't have to go to OKC to take your mental vacation. You can do it right here in your own backyard, all right? And you can go over to Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They've got 4 locations. My favorite is Wild Horse Pass. You can go out there. You can stay at the resort. Beautiful rooms, sports-themed rooms, amazing pools. It's fantastic, but that's not it. That's not all. They've got an amazing gaming floor with all the kind of table games, card games, slot machines, everything that you love about a casino. They got it. Not all, though. Food. You like food, right? Well, they've got fast food and they got fine dining.
What was that restaurant that we went to last time we were out there?
Oh, what was it? It was
What was it?
Ling and Louie's.
Ling and Louie's. It was so good, y'all.
So good.
So good.
And then I had fast food Italian that was really good too. I got a pizza, slice of pizza. They got fine dining, fast dining, whatever you need. That's not it though. There's more, right?
Is there more?
There's more.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
But wait.
There's more. There's a BetMGM Sportsbook. That's not it. They got a concert venue.
They do.
And they got the swing bays that we do their show up there as well.
Surely that must be it.
It's not Gerald. There's more.
They
got a parking lot.
Don't challenge him, Gerald, because there's actually so much stuff we could be here for an
They got a parking lot. They got a gift shop. They got great bathrooms and escalators that are spectacular.
There you go.
You've never ridden an escalator quite like the ones at Gila River Resorts and Casinos.
I mean, that's true.
And you know what? You can do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos.
Now
So
I've got to
visit
feel for the place.
playatgila.com for more details. And if you haven't been out to one, you can come out to Wild Horse Pass with us next weekend on Friday, April 5th and Sunday, April 7th. For our watch parties. We're going to be watching the Suns play some basketball, and we'll either celebrate together or commiserate together. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and find out.
It's a chance they play basketball.
I mean, honestly, one night we could be on the top of the world, and the next night we could be at the bottom of the Titanic. You just never know. But I can promise you it's going to be an absolute blast. So come hang out with us. All the details, go phnx.com. Just click the events tab. All right, guys, let's take a peek at some of these super chats we've got rolling in here. The first one from Don Davius. Thank you so much for your super chat. They said, looks like that accountability thing the Suns were so keen on was a one-game thing. LOL. Vogel has a crush on Drew Eubanks. Glad the Snakes are back, though.
Do they need accountability partners? Is that what
Accountability buddies?
Yeah, they gotta pair up and hold each other accountable.
They might have to.
I mean, honestly,
We're reaching the drastic measures portion.
I'm not mad at that idea, but it is kind of frustrating.
Yes.
Right? It is a little bit frustrating. They did start the game well, so it's not like they just came out real flat-footed.
Yeah.
So
They got flat.
they did.
Like a soda that was left out on the counter.
They
Yeah.
threw the first punch, and then OKC threw the haymaker.
They
That's
did.
what it was.
Psycho Blue sent us a super chat. Thank you, Psycho Blue. Appreciate you. They said, Basketball Cthulhu can safely say this was a flush and move on game with how we hoisted up a bunch of threes and came up empty.
Do you want to tell us about the plumbing at this point in the season?
Well, yeah, you better call the plumber because if you flushed all this, it's backed up right now. But I don't want them to flush it. I want this, and I said this on the watch. I want this to fester. I want you to get no. I mean, not in a. I want
not
you
in a
to,
poop way.
I want you to get. Yeah, this is
that specific
yellow.
word
Let it
is-
mellow. Brown. Flush it down. I'm saying. I want it to fester and make these takes.
You want them to sit in the sink?
I mean, if it's that powerful, maybe they will actually. But no, look, I want them to get pissed off about this.
Yeah.
I want it to eat away at them a little bit over the next few days.
That's what the bus ride's for.
Yeah. Well, or like I said, you ain't going to New Orleans. That day off spent in OKC. Good luck, boys.
Yeah.
But I want it to eat at them because this is the kind of loss that could be the difference between 7 and 8 or 6 and 7. In the playoff seeding, and it should piss them off. It should piss them off that they got their asses handed to them, and I want that because New Orleans, that game on Monday is so paramount to everything you're trying to accomplish, especially now that you lost this one and you lost the Spurs game. So I want it to fester.
Yeah, that's fair. I think if we get to the point where they stop caring, then we're really screwed. But my thing is, like, how many of these do you have to sit through or suffer through or lose as a team and say we're going to be accountable, we're going to come out with a different energy, focus, all this stuff, do it for a game, and then you go, it's like this stupid circle that we're now, switching through every 24 to 48 hours. It's like, can we sustain a level of play for more than just 1 or 2 games? Can we sustain it for a couple weeks? Because we're going to have to for a couple months if you want to go literally anywhere beyond the first round in the playoffs. And right now, it's just hard to picture that this team doing that, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Gordon sent us a super chat. Thank you, Gordon. They said, Every time this team plays a contender besides Denver, they get utterly humiliated. This is definitely not the year. All in gamble, swung and missed. A couple of people have been saying that they do, while they are upset with Frank Vogel, they do think that this team with him in the leadership role at the helm need another year under their belt before changes are made. You guys kind of,
I don't know.
50-50
It depends on
that?
what happens in
Yeah,
the playoffs.
how it
That's
plays out,
for me.
yeah.
And I'm never going to sit here and advocate for anyone to lose their job. But I do think with this group's very short window that you have of maybe next year, maybe the year after that, like you don't have time to waste if they come out and just get smoked in the playoffs. So it is something that they'll have to keep an eye on and see how the season ends.
I'd be look if it continues to play out like this, and every indication is this is who they are, I'm looking at every level. I'm looking at front office. I'm looking at coaching staff. I'm looking at the roster and asking the hard questions about how this is constructed. Can it work? Is it just time? Was it coaching? Like anything and everything is on the table for me at that point, because you can't just have a hope and a prayer. Like that's not a plan, right? Mm-hmm. A hope and a prayer is not a plan. That's a recipe for repeating past mistakes or whatever. I want complete postmortem, pull it all apart, figure out every little thing that could have been the culprit, and then decide on a path that you're going to move forward in, whether it's bringing in a new president of basketball operations, whether it's changing a coaching staff, whether it's looking at, is there some kind of trade that needs to be made, which is a lot tougher based on everything. And obviously, if you're changing front offices, you can't make that decision until you have a new front office in there. But I think everything should be on the table if you continue to play like this.
I agree with you in theory, but I think from the roster standpoint, you're not going to be able to make any substantial changes because, like, you're not trading Book, you're not trading KD. Bradley Beal, if you wanted to trade him, guess what? His no trade clause is going to nix that. So those are kind of the only guys that you could make substantial. Maybe you can find a trade for Nurk and switch things up at the center spot again. But like other than that, you're not there is no like blow this team up and start things over option. Like, I'm never going to sit up here and advocate for trading Book or KD at this point. Mm-hmm. Like it's just not, it doesn't feel realistic to me unless KD wants out, and we haven't gotten that indication yet. So you have to bring Grayson and Royce back. You can't let them walk because guess what? You're not replacing what they bring. So all you really have to tinker with are trades, maybe for Nurk and vet minimums.
Yeah, but you're
not changing the roster.
I have a nastier little $6 million contract that I was sold on.
You're right.
Being trade bait. I've got the 24th pick of the draft. Gerald, there are wholesale changes that can be made.
The 24th pick in the draft is going to be interesting.
Hey now, you guys, we're getting way too far ahead of ourselves here. Okay, let's just put a pin in this conversation and we will revisit it at a later date. Adrian sent us a super chat, Espo, and said, "When I get upset, it's not because we're losing, it's how we're losing and our future. We're stuck with this group and it's just not working. Sad face. Too many lows with this team."
That's why I said the 24th pick is interesting to me, because at some point you need to draft players that can come in and be team controlled contributors, because you look around the league, there's so many teams that have guys even in the second round that are currently part of their rotation, part of their playoff rotation. You have to be able to draft and build talent that way. And so far the Suns have traded every pick that they've had in the last few years. And in fairness, it's been aggressive. It's been putting three superstars together and trying to build it, but you have to supplement that with young talent. And that's why it's going to be real interesting to see if they try to trade that pick for another established role player, or if they actually draft it and try to get a younger guy who can come in and help keep sustaining this thing.
Yeah, and that's been happening even before the big 3G. Like they've been trading picks for so long. I mean, you go back to the draft. I don't know the specific players. It's too long ago, but the Landry Shamet trade, that was on draft night for a first round pick.
Yeah, that was Javon Carter, and the pick wound up being Day'Ron Sharp.
There you go. So, you got to get some new blood in here. You got to, I mean, listen, the 24th pick in the draft is not a bad pick. I mean, there's a lot of good players in the NBA that are picked outside the lottery. And so, yeah, you got to be able to capitalize on it, especially when you trade them all away.
And the best part about the future, as far as when you're looking at picks and stuff that we didn't have in the past, was no capacity to help them grow and develop, right? Because look at Sticks. You just aren't going to get the opportunity in that situation. And there's nowhere we can send you to help you grow and develop, because at that time, we were too cheap to have a G League team. Mm-hmm. Well, now we're going to have a G League team. So whoever it is that ends up joining this team that is a younger player that needs a little bit more help on the developmental side of things has the avenue to do that. And that's a positive.
But the Suns did send Sticks to us to grow his heart and his mind with Sticks kids. So.
That's also to your point about Sticks. You got to also draft well, because
I didn't want to
You could have had Devin Vassell. You could have had Tyrese Halliburton. You could have had Desmond Bain.
But that brings me back to, you got to look at your front office. If that's going to be a big part of what you're doing, do you trust who's sitting there to make the decision? That's a question you could ask. I tried this in the watch along. Have either of you seen The Music Man?
The Music Man? No.
Oh my God, I give up.
No.
Never mind. Hold on. Have you seen the Simpsons monorail episode?
No.
Oh my God, I really give up.
Psycho Blue sent us another super chat. Thank you, Psycho Blue. They said, with the second tax apron looming, OKC's cheap owner, Galaxy, braining everyone to win a chip on a budget is going to sting hard for all the owners who actually want to spend money to win.
I mean, he's drafted well. They've developed talent well, and they still have a lot of chips to cash in if that one star becomes available to pair up with SGA, which is kind of scary. So,
yeah. Travis sent us one. Thank you, Travis. They said, loss would be more forgivable if you had beaten Spurs, Rockets, etc.
Yeah.
They can ride the bus with New Orleans. There you go. They can ride the bus to New Orleans with a sponsored by Espo's Cheeks Clinics on the side.
I'm glad it said.
Is it yours now?
It is. Yeah. I'm just glad it.
How did that become yours?
I'm glad he added clinic, right?
Yeah. If it was just Espo's Cheeks, that would be.
That's a totally different bus.
That's harassment for every car that's driving by.
Totally different bus.
D-Nice sent us one, and they said, textbook coaching for OKC. Their offense is constantly moving without the ball and cutting to the basket, combined with their athleticism. Coaching clinic.
Yeah, they had really great ball movement, and I felt like the Suns were matching them early in that game, and the Thunder just kept doing what they were doing, and the Suns did not.
Yeah. Never Nude sent us one. A great show. If that's what it's referencing anyway. You know what I'm talking about,
Tobias,
right? Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Fantastic. Way before it's time. Said, in my opinion, this is a Chris Paul leadership difference. Didn't let people take nights off. There has been quite a few comments about whether or not this is a leadership issue, and that Katie and Book might just not be
that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody is claiming that they are that type of guy or that type of leader. They're more like by example, which is completely different than a Chris Paul type of leadership.
Yeah. I can't. It's tough because Chris Paul is a one-of-a-kind leader to the point that he got on people's ass and rubbed some people the wrong way because of it. So he was the ultimate floor manager on the court, off the court. So it's hard to hold other guys to that standard because he truly is one of a kind in that regard. But yeah, the leadership styles, the lead by example thing is good when you're winning, and when you're not, people are going to point to it and be like, well, who's stepping up and being vocal? And I don't know.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Chris Paul is no longer in our inner circle. He will always be in our hearts, but he's not in our inner circle, so we just have to let him go. But you know who is in our inner circle?
Who?
Circle K, because they always have our back. Basically a location on every single block. So you should not ever run out of gas. I know a lot of us push the limits, but you should never run out of gas because Circle K has you covered.
Let's ask about that. How far do you go? You drive 5 miles.
No, but bro, I pushed it yesterday. I did. And I had to stop at Circle K. I was like, I'm going to be 10 minutes late to work, but I swear if I don't stop and get gas right now, I'm not going to be able to leave work.
You're 5 minutes from here. How late did you leave?
And there's like 3 Circle Ks on the way, and I absolutely love it.
What's the lowest mileage you've gotten into?
I don't
before
know.
gas. You don't have the thing?
It doesn't say specifically.
She has to
which
slam on
miles.
the brakes and listen to the tank slosh.
Exactly.
I feel like Gerald's a quarter of a tank guy. He doesn't let it go below a quarter.
No, remember I ran out of gas that one
you
time on the
did.
freeway going to Suns
That's
practice.
true. I
So
do
was
say I
running late.
expected better of you.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
My exit was literally 2 exits away, and then it ran out of gas right there. It
I didn't
sucked.
think about this, but did you know Flex has a new experience when he goes to Circle K?
What's
In Jersey, you can't pump your own gas. Here, he's got to do it himself.
Oh wow.
I learned that when I got here.
How
I was sitting there
exciting.
waiting for somebody to come. I'm like, yo, who the fuck works at this gas station?
You do,
bro.
You do.
Yeah, I'm serious.
I must
You
not
blew
be in
my
their inner
mind.
circle.
You do you on the gas pump.
There you
buddy.
go.
Yeah.
When you sign
True
up for
story.
Circle K's Inner Circle, which is a free membership program, you save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, 3 cents per gallon every day after that. You can also bump up to 5 cents per gallon when you become a quote-unquote VIP, like Espo and Sol are. You can get every 6 free on a selection of Circle K products, and they always have discounts and coupons within the app as well. So join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply. At participating locations, visit CircleK.com for details.
You can feel like a winner in an Inner Circle, but do you truly want to be a winner, Flex?
Hell yeah.
Gerald, would you like to be a winner?
I'm okay.
Hey, Phoenix Suns, would you like to be a winner? The Arizona Lottery can help you with that.
Not the dead silence.
It's a pregnant pause, all right? Thank you very much. The Arizona Lottery is introducing a unique new ticket promotion called Arizona Adventure. Unlike the Phoenix Suns, this is an adventure you want to take, all right? There are 3 ways to play and win big. And really, all you have to do is show up. Kind of like the Suns need to try to do. Play the Arizona Adventure Lottery tickets featuring 3 iconic landscapes: Picacho Peak, been there; Monument Valley, been there; Camelback Mountain, I feel like we've all been there, except for maybe Flex. These tickets have prizes of up to $50,000, but you can also check in at geolocated adventures at 10 destinations across the state, from Flagstaff to Yuma. I don't know any other places. I just read what they said, but those are 2 of the 10.
Close enough.
Yeah, and then visit azadventure.com for details. Check in at the destination coordinates on the website, or enter tickets online for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes. The Arizona Lottery is not just about playing games and winning prizes. It's also about giving back to the state and its communities. Visit azadventure.com for more information on how you can take an adventure for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes.
All right, some guy named Justin sent us a super chat and said Young had no answers for that perimeter defense. 2 coaching schemes aren't jiving.
Yeah.
That's been a question all season long, is what does the coaching hierarchy, planning, how does that all really work out? And I don't think we'll really ever have an answer to it, to be completely honest with you.
No,
Which
we
is
don't
unfortunate.
get the insight from assistant coaches or even head coaches as to how much sway an assistant coach has, because they would obviously, for very obvious reasons, prefer to keep that in-house.
Yeah.
So.
But as some guy named Justin always says in the chat, hit that like button, guys. Help us out. Thumbs up.
My biggest assistant coaching question is, why does David Fizdale's glasses always look like this when you see him on the
yelling
sideline? I'm like, does he have uneven ears? Like, is there some solution to help poor Fizz out with this? All right.
DL sent us a super chat and said, nice to see Thad Young get 0 minutes. WTF.
The guy's gonna be a star one day.
Every
We feel
20th
you,
game.
DL. We feel you.
Hold on, it's like the Inner Circle for Circle K. Every 6th is
Oh,
what
no.
you're gonna get out of it.
Libertarian Sasquatch sent us one, and they said, I would recommend Vogel, a good real estate agent.
Oh, man.
Ooh, burn. Jackson sent us one. I didn't mean that to sound sarcastic either. I didn't mean it to sound like that at all. It was more like it was a joke.
It's fine.
You know, we were having a good time.
Having a good time.
Jackson sent us one. Thank you, Jackson. Said, you can't use the other team played better excuse. It happens way too often to be a fluke. It's a trend now.
But it can be a trend that the other team
Right.
played better than you.
Yeah,
they
that's the
could
problem.
just kick your ass.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely could be. And I would say there was a pretty big difference in how we lost to OKC than how we lost to the Spurs. Like,
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily say that the Spurs outplayed us to what we are normal.
Right.
If
We
that
played
makes
like
sense.
shit
Our
in that
base
game.
was better than what the Spurs came with. We just didn't even meet that.
Yeah.
Trevor sent us one and said, I changed the channel on the Suns a lot this year. Sad face emoji.
Good, Trevor.
Aw.
You're not
Preserve
alone,
your
brother.
mental health,
Exactly.
man.
Honestly, though, protect your mentals. All right. Tim from Phoenix said, Eubanks minutes on offense are a problem. Teams are not concerned with him. They are playing 4v5 a lot when Eubanks is in.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Travis L. sent us one, and they said, imagine those 20 days lining up to clutch game 7s.
I think that's what Frank's doing. He's lining it up to when those game 7s might be.
Watch
There you
that
go.
happen.
Oh,
If
oh.
that happens, man, shit.
Or,
I'm
hey,
losing my
you don't have
mind.
to worry about game 7s if you never get there.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my
Espo, you're
God.
terrible.
I'm
Damon?
saying they're going to win in 4
Oh,
this
right,
year.
right,
Is
right,
that
okay,
right?
okay.
Suns in 4.
Okay. Damon sent us a super chat, and they said, please talk about Book.
What do you want us to talk
hey,
about? Am
So
I?
Devin finished with 14 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 turnovers, 5 personal fouls, 4 of 9 from the field, 0 of 2 from deep.
So a lot of people were asking why did Book only take 9 shots? Well, he pretty much didn't play in the fourth quarter because the game was over at that point. And I think, I don't know, like the Thunder did a good job taking him out of the flow. I think he was looking to distribute because KD had it going, and we've had so many people complain that Book gets tunnel vision. And I thought a couple of nights ago he got tunnel vision in the third, and then in the fourth he totally switched up, got KD involved. I think he was trying to do that tonight, but the Thunder are a much better defense, so it just didn't work out well. And like we said early in the show, everyone outside of KD did not have a good game tonight.
Yeah.
Well, Book got frustrated too because it was a physical game.
Yes.
And they allowed a lot to go. And I think he got frustrated. And like I said earlier, when he gets frustrated, he tends to get more physical, which leads to some fouls on both ends, offensive and defensive fouls. And I think he got caught in that as well tonight, which gave him those 5 fouls. And once you hit that point, you're riding the pine, at least for a little while, but I think, if I were Frank and you see the way that game's going, I let it ride. I say, keep playing. Try not to get that 6 and try to make something happen. Because him on the bench in a game like this does you no good. I mean, what are you saving him for? Are you hoping that you catch lightning in a bottle without him and then cut the lead and he can come back in? Like, I don't know. I would have just said, go out there and don't do anything stupid.
I mean, OKC's got a lot of perimeter weapons. They got good defenders. They got a whole bunch of guys that can throw at Book. This was one of those games too where when you're trying to find your shot and you tack on foul trouble, you just lose your normal minute allocation is off, your rhythm's off. It's a little bit of what I talked about earlier too. When you got the big 3, they make shots easier for the role players. Role players hit shots. I think that opens things up for them. So if a couple shots here or there by maybe Gordon and Grayson, and that might open up a lane for Book to kind of get into his sweet spots. But it just wasn't a good game. He had some turnovers. He had foul trouble. He'd be the first one to tell you this is one he needs to be better at. But yeah, I think he came in third quarter. He had 5 fouls. I mean, that's you're shooting yourself in the foot if you got 5 fouls in the third quarter.
And this is a team that, keep in mind, 4th in defensive rating, 1st in points off turnovers, 2nd in steals. Like they are uniquely prepared to hurt a team where they hurt the most in terms of their Achilles heels with the turnovers and that kind of thing.
And that's what, to your point, you brought it up earlier too in the show. Book tends to play a little more physical when he's frustrated.
Yeah.
So
we
saw he didn't have the best game in Denver, right? Didn't have the best outing tonight either. So he's going to inevitably have higher emotions around this stuff. Does he need to control them? Sure.
Yeah.
Is it also a little bit understandable in moments? Yes. Not saying it's something that you should excuse on a night-to-night basis, but that's probably a big portion of what played into a lot of that.
I'll just say I don't think you can excuse anything that happened other than I mean, KD is the one that we said we put him in his own category, but you can't excuse the play of anybody tonight. None of this group did what you need to win in a situation where they need to stack wins right now.
Yeah. Travis L sent us another super chat and said they're all on the Cheeks bus, but Katie gets the ox because he's the only one that showed up. So Katie gets to pick the music, and if you don't like it, tough shit.
The song is Dance Princess.
On the real, I'm not mad at that one, dog.
No,
that's real
Great
talk.
super chat.
That really happened.
No, you don't let Katie, because Katie's gonna pick good music. I feel like you choose Nurk, and he has to pick the music, and Nurk's gonna pick some weird shit. I have a feeling. Oh boy!
Damn.
Like you could get Bosnian dance party music.
I bet you that shit goes hard.
I bet it does.
That shit might go hard.
But at 2:30 in the morning on the way to New Orleans, I don't think anybody wants to.
I don't know. We'll see.
They need a pulse.
Tom sent us a super chat. They said, Tinfoil Hat Club, I think Flex is fake Vogel on Twitter.
You got me, man. Espo, give me my sneakers back, man. I'm taking them back to the store.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't think that's true, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, what if it was?
Okay, I would.
Ho, that I'm Frank Vogel.
Twitter? Yeah.
Man, I ain't got no burner account or nothing like that.
The only reason,
that's why I said I don't think it's you, but also if it was you, it wouldn't shock me though.
Okay, the only reason why I think it could be him is that account is generous and tries to be uplifting. Yeah. That's why I think it'd be him. But then I've also seen Flex around certain kinds of technology, and I don't think you can make those graphics that.
Hell no.
Maybe he has somebody on the payroll for that.
Maybe it's you and I, Flex.
I could see that happening.
I don't think Frank Vogel has ever asked if they can ask anyone a question on Twitter, though. So I don't think it's.
Kevin, that would be a dead giveaway. That would be a dead giveaway.
No, I'm sensitive about this a little bit though, because I've been accused of being so many damn accounts that is crazy. Like it really is. And I swear on my life, I only have my account, guys. It's the craziest thing.
Can I admit to something?
How many of you guys?
Are you Frank Vogel?
No.
Say it yourself, Chief.
I don't have that.
Genius.
I don't have that kind of time.
Genius.
I don't have that.
It's a tax write-off, right?
Back in the
tell me what you thought
probably have some pretty amazing tax write-off. But no, back in the day, I used to have a burner account called Lou's Ponytail. It was a fake Lou Amundsen account. And
I remember that account.
And Pert Plus actually reached out to me thinking that I was affiliated with Lou Amundsen and wanted to do a sponsorship deal. And I was like, I'm not Lou Amundsen.
You should have took that all the way to the bank.
We could have an even bigger studio right now.
Wow. You think I'd be working
with you too? You could have called Lou for the banks and I got you some bread, homie. Come meet me down here.
Jeff sent us a super chat. They said, Thunder up, but shout out to my boy Gerald, though.
Jeff, what's up, man?
Hi, Jeff.
Thanks for coming in here.
Thunder fan?
That's okay. You can't help how people.
Oh, that's the first thing I ask. I say, "Who are you a fan of?" They say a team I don't like, and I'm like, "Well, it's been nice to know you."
Please.
They probably do the same thing with you as a Suns
You're too nice for that.
Okay, I'm actually married to a Bulls
fan. So. Mario Not Bros 2 sent us one and said, "No Ingram on Monday equals yet another trap game."
Maybe.
I hope not. I really hope not.
I mean, that's not even a trap game because at least the Thunder were 0-2 without SGA entering this game. The Pelicans have been kicking some ass with or without him.
I will say this. This is if Books had a tough game today. Not a great game in Devin. This is basically a home game for Devin Booker on Monday. He gets all his Moss Point people up there. You saw what he did last time he was in New Orleans. Did he drop a 50 bomb? Dropped a 50 bomb in New Orleans this year.
I think so.
Yeah. So this is a glorified home game for the Booker crew. So hopefully he breaks out and has a good game Monday.
Ilya sent us a super chat. Thank you. They said Nurk is banging that techno Viking. Look it up.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it probably
techno
would go hard.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome, and I'm excited.
I'm a Viking fan.
Gerald, just make sure you are prepared when you put it on, okay? Make sure you have full blast.
You've
at
heard?
Home.
You should.
Lights good, 4 peaks in hand, right? I make the whole vibe work.
I almost said something that would not have worked with that trick.
Yeah. Don't screw this up, Espo. Don't ruin this, Espo. Thank you. You could actually try out their new beer that they launched this year, the Bad Birdie Juicy Ale.
Tell me about it.
Between 4 Peaks and Bad Birdie. And guess what, Gerald?
What?
It's super drinkable.
Is
it's
it?
a perfect companion
Is it liquid?
in the tee box or during your raves. I think it'd be a blast.
Not all
Honestly,
liquid
it'd
is
be
super
great.
drink.
Love my raves.
And then after tomorrow, right? Because not tonight. Tonight's a bit the party.
Post rave.
But tomorrow, when you're probably feeling a little hurt, you don't want to make yourself food, right? You just want to
Right.
go somewhere
I do.
and be treated. You go down to the Four Peaks Pub down in Tempe.
Perfect.
You can pick whatever beer you'd like from their variety of delightful beers, and you get some chicken tendies.
I love those.
And then you'll be set to go for round 2 Saturday night.
Hell yeah.
I know. You're welcome for planning your entire weekend.
Thank you.
You can visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. You can also check them out on social at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub. To keep up with the latest in Arizona's hometown brewery, you must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, so we ask you please drink responsibly. I want to ask what Eric is laughing about, but I think I'm going to pass.
It's just my stupid response.
Oh, it's just Gerald. Eric's just laughing. I was going to say, I do appreciate that you play along with me,
Yeah, I
but
got you.
refuse to play along with Espo.
That's because he is always setting up a damn Manscaped ad.
Hey, Gerald.
Oh shit.
You want to keep the rave going?
Yeah,
You like that techno Viking music?
I hope so.
We'll just pretend you do.
Okay.
You want to enjoy it even more?
Yeah.
I know how you can.
How's that?
By flavoring your Friday with a little bit of OGs.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
exactly.
Oh gee.
You can have one of them gummies, and you can really enjoy that Viking techno music. You'll feel like you're back in the times of the Vikings, and really just dig right in.
OGs unlocks time travel.
It does, if you hit it right. It's Gummy Madness season. Follow along as 8 competing dispensaries. Oh yeah, it's dispensary versus dispensary, gummy versus gummy. Each week in a bracket to determine a champion. Vote for your favorite gummy as the winner, and you'll receive a BOGO offer. Follow along to see who wins. And you know what? OGs has some spectacular new flavors. They've launched 2 new products made with live rosin and RSO. The OG's Naturals and the Big OGs. The Naturals are a vegan gummy, so if you're vegan, you can get in on the action and go over to Gerald's and enjoy some Viking techno music. And then you can also check out the Big OGs. It's a mega version of Peg's Raspberry Orange RSO, one of the company's most popular products. It's perforated into 10 slices, each with 10 milligrams of THC for a total of 100 milligrams. So and you can learn more about OG's gummies and where you can find them by heading over to ogsbrands.com. Must be 21 or over to enjoy. Please enjoy responsibly.
All right, guys, we got 2 things to wrap up tonight's game. First, we'll let Gerald have the stage here.
Yes, I did want to thank some of our diehards. Chris, Karen, Elizabeth, Daniel, Charles, and Mark, parentheses bread. Thank you guys. They sent me a card and they sent me a gift card to La Ristra, which is a really good New Mexican restaurant that I have not been to yet, but have heard great things about. So I did just want to say thank you to you guys for that very thoughtful wedding gift. That was very nice.
I was going to say they sent you and Amy that.
It's
You have to
mostly
take
me.
Amy.
Yeah,
with you.
we're actually going tomorrow
Okay.
after
I'm
the Four
just making
Peaks
sure you
rave
understand that
we
you
planned.
have to take Amy.
Anybody else you'd like to thank, Gerald?
For what?
Did you find my card?
No, I didn't actually. I forgot to
Espo,
tell
you
you.
lost his
No.
card?
I think Espo got drunk and put it in a box that was not our card box.
Espo.
No, there was one near the telephone thing. I was like, well, this looks like a card.
Nope. Yeah, we did go through the
That's
cards.
actually
And we
just
did
like a
find
random
it.
piece of decor that's just there. Nobody even looked in it. The card's probably still in it.
You were supposed to keep me from doing stupid stuff, Flex.
I forgot to tell you about that. Yeah, no, we did not find the card.
You didn't find your card?
I
No.
promise I will get you a replacement.
Lord have mercy. All right, guys. And yeah, so shout out to
There was
all of you guys.
$1,000 in it. Just so
Oh
you know.
no, hopefully not cash.
All cash.
Oh no.
And then to round things out, let's take a peek at what the Western Conference standings look like. So at the end of today, the Suns are in 8th place here. I have them. I mean, we don't literally have to look at them. It's
Well,
just,
you said look.
as a group, we're all just going to look collectively
Y'all ain't got
together.
phones at home.
Pull up your own app on your phone. Like,
Play
damn,
the Viking
guys.
techno music and get us out.
I quit. I don't want to do it anymore. The Suns are in 8th. That's all you need to know.
Suns are in 8th. The Mavs are down by 8 to the
Rats.
Kings right now. The Warriors won tonight. The Lakers lost, which is good. So the Suns are still 2 games up on them. The Clippers won, which is unfortunate. And I think those are the only games that affect them. So, the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets. So Timberwolves still kind of trucking along despite Cat being out. So Suns have 2 against them, which could be important.
Yeah.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Look at how we all looked at that together.
It's time for a Vikings Four Peaks rave.
Let's
get out of here.
We got to go. Thank you all for joining us
Let's go.
once again. If you're here on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button on your way out. If you're listening wherever you get your podcast, rate, review, and subscribe. We have a 2-day weekend, y'all. So that means there's going to be no Suns games and no PHNX Suns shows Saturday or Sunday. But we will be back on Monday with a pre and post game show for you guys. So plan to come hang out with us. And until we see you then, give the show a follow on social at PHNX_Suns. You can also follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. You can follow Flex at Flex from Jersey. And you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Are they still tears if you do it while laughing? Oh, wait.
We all silly like the mayor.